Ladies and gentlemen, Red Bull says domo arigato to Yuki Tsunoda, which means Yuki Tsunoda will leave Formula 1 at the end of 2025 Formula 1 season. No other team is interested in this little guy. That's because he is shit. And in this video, I'm going to give you some evidence, some stats and facts to prove that this guy is not as good as his fan base will lead you to believe. This video is going to offend a lot of Yuki Tsunoda fans, but I have to keep it real. I cannot just hold myself back against some of the fan favorites. We will start by taking a brief look at Yuki Tsunoda's entire career, analyze the shit that he has done, and then we can easily conclude intuitively that his performance in Formula 1 is mid at best. So he joins F1 in 2021. And from the get-go, it's quite visible that he is not a championship-winning driver or a race-winning driver, because Pierre Gasly scored 110 points, Yuki Tsunoda scored 32 points, 3 times. Now, I know that it's his debut, and I know that Pierre Gasly is a Max Verstappen in a midfield car. Pierre Gasly is doing the same thing in Alpine. He's outdriving the shit out of that tractor. But 3 times is a bit too much. You need to score at least 40, 45, 50-ish type of points. I know that it's your debut, but 2021, the AlphaTauri was actually good. If you look at their constructor standings, Alpine outscored AlphaTauri by 13 points. And I think if Yuki Tsunoda was better, as good as he was advertised, then they could have pipped him. Now, if you look at the season, like the entire season's performance, in the first 1/3 of the season, Tsunoda scored 8 points to Gasly's 37. That's more than 4 times. And in the last 1/3 of the season, Tsunoda scored 14 points to Gasly's 44. That's more than 3 times. So even if you consider the entire season, I have broken the season into 3 equal parts to measure the relative progress of Yuki Tsunoda. The closest he got was in the second 1/3, where Yuki scored 10 points and Gasly scored 29. That's still almost 3 times. So throughout the season, as the season has progressed, the car is good. I know it's Yuki's debut season. The car is good, but still he couldn't manage to close up the gap, and he's substantially behind Pierre Gasly. Then we go to his second season in Formula 1, and this is a table that we will revisit in a second. In the second season of Yuki Tsunoda in Formula 1, Pierre Gasly still manages to score double the points of Yuki in a shit car. Now, in this season, 2022, the AlphaTauri's performance was even more diminished. In that situation, it should be easy to close the gap to your teammate, right? Because if you both of you are like in the back of the midfield, then you finish near each other, and then the point differential shouldn't be that high. And Pierre Gasly scored 23 points, Yuki Tsunoda got 12 points. Mick was ranked higher because he probably had more points finishes or whatever, but nearly double points is what I'm gonna say. And again, if you look at the championship standings, the constructor standings, Haas only outscored AlphaTauri by only 2 points. And Yuki Tsunoda could have scored those extra 2 points, because if you look at Yuki Tsunoda's career, there are a lot of crashes. In 2022, this is the Canadian Grand Prix, where he pit for hard tires. He gets out of the pits and immediately crashes into the barriers. I will mute this video and I'll let it play. This is Yuki getting out of the pits, fresh tires, pushes too hard, straight into the barrier, ends his race. Another example comes from the 2022 British Grand Prix, and this is the situation in which both Yuki and Pierre were running in points. Yuki is in the inside going into the village corner, and as you can see, he has hit Pierre Gasly. Gasly was out. Yuki Tsunoda got some penalty, ruined both of their races. Both of them could have scored some points. And this is another clip from 2022 Singapore Grand Prix. He probably did something. So he is running all by himself, as you can see. Running all by himself, and he went straight into the barriers. Another perfect Yuki Tsunoda moment. All by himself. It was a little bit raining before that, and he just locks up and finds the barriers. So it's very interesting to know how shit Yuki Tsunoda is in finding the breaking point, in finding how to drive the car and how to rotate the car into corners. So when I look at the constructor standing points, AlphaTauri could have easily beaten Haas Ferrari. 2 points is not that much. When you got Pierre Gasly and when you got Yuki Tsunoda crashing that much and when you got Yuki Tsunoda ruining his own teammate's race, it's a cardinal sin in Formula 1 to crash into your teammate. You're not a rookie. The car is, whatever. It's not as good as the car from 2021, but still, this is unacceptable. The crazy thing is, in 2022, Yuki actually started the season well. In the first one-third of the season, he scored almost double the points of Gasly, but as the season progressed, he became shit and shit. From Azerbaijan all the way to Singapore, Japan actually, Yuki Tsunoda scored 0 points. Like you see the stint from Azerbaijan all the way to Japan, Yuki Tsunoda scored 0 points and he managed to only score 1 point in the last one-third of the season. So even though he started well, he couldn't manage to keep up with the consistency. He has a lot of crashes here and there, and he's just a crash-prone, average Formula 1 driver. But the first 2 seasons, still a lot of things to learn. In 2021 F1 season also, there were a lot of stupid crashes like this. Like for example, this one. In the 2021 Saudi Arabia, Yuki Tsunoda crashes with Sebastian Vettel. A really stupid mistake. I think Sebastian was also partly to blame, to be fair. So 2021, 2022, absolutely lackluster performance by this guy. If he was an actual race-winning driver or a driver who was capable of fighting for race wins and championships, this curve, his learning curve, wouldn't be so unimpressive, is what I'm trying to say. If you look at any of the race-winning drivers, any of the drivers who have the potential to compete for world championships in Formula 1, they learn very quickly. They don't lag behind their teammate no matter how good they are so significantly. And at this point, I was starting to think that, oh, this guy is here just because of Honda. If it was not for Honda, Yuki Tsunoda would have been fired from the Red Bull family by the end of 2022, especially after this crash in Silverstone. Helmut Marko was pissed the fuck off because this move cost the team valuable points that they could have used to beat Haas Ferrari and close the gap to Aston Martin in the 2022 Formula 1 season. But anyway, let's move on. First 2 seasons. Still, if you want to give the benefit of doubt to this little guy, okay, I will understand. So we move on to the 2023 Formula 1 season, and this season is fun because he has 3 teammates. So the first teammate is Nick de Vries. A lot of people think that 2023 is Yuki Tsunoda's best season in Formula 1 because he outperformed Nick de Vries, he outperformed Daniel Ricciardo, he outperformed Liam Lawson. It's not that impressive. None of those things are impressive. And in this video, in the next few minutes, I'm going to explain to you why. So first, we start with Nick de Vries, who is a rookie. He had a race or 2 or something like that with Williams. You cannot count that compared to 2 full season experience of Yuki Tsunoda. So I'm expecting Nick de Vries to be smoked for his entire duration in Formula 1 as long as he is the teammate of Yuki Tsunoda, because Yuki has 2 years of full experience. The season begins, Yuki is ahead, starts to pull in some decent performances. And in the first 10 races, Nick de Vries scored 0 points and Yuki Tsunoda scored 2 points. Not that impressive. What would have been more impressive is if he had consistently finished way ahead of Nick de Vries in each of the races, which didn't happen. For the initial part, okay, Yuki Tsunoda was decent and whatever. But from Monaco all the way to Great Britain, de Vries actually closed the gap to Yuki, if you look at it, because in Monaco, de Vries finished ahead, and from here, neither of the drivers, like from Monaco all the way to Great Britain, neither of the drivers were even close to score points. They were, P12 was their best position, like when they took the checkered flag. And if you interchange the position where the both of the drivers have finished, if you interchange Nick de Vries and Yuki or Yuki and Nick de Vries, it really doesn't matter, like it's a little bit of cat and mouse, which is a concerning thing if you're Yuki Tsunoda. If a guy like after 6 or so races from the beginning of the season, manages to perform as well as you, and you have 2 full years of Formula One experience, and the graph, the scatter plot line graph is intersecting multiple times, there is a reason for you to be concerned. It should be 2 separate lines, like one line straight at the top representing Yuki and another one straight at the bottom representing Nick de Vries. There should not be multiple overlaps like this one. So Nick de Vries, even though he was fired after 10 or so races, he kind of started to perform on Yuki's level towards the end of his AlphaTauri stint, is all I'm gonna say. And after that, we need to take a look at Daniel Ricciardo. A few things you guys need to keep in mind. Yes, Daniel Ricciardo is a race winner. He has won multiple races with Red Bull. He has that one race win with McLaren in Monza. But this is a broken Daniel Ricciardo. I want you guys to just know that. Daniel Ricciardo has just been smoked decisively by Lando Norris, and he was so shit that McLaren decided to put him out of their seat and still pay him because he was costing them valuable points. So as a refugee, he came back to AlphaTauri because no other seat was available. So this is not the best Daniel Ricciardo that Yuki Tsunoda is fighting, but at the same time, credit to Yuki for outperforming Daniel, is all I'm gonna say. One thing that stands out a little bit is that Daniel still managed to outperform Yuki in some race weekends. For example, in the 2023 Mexican Grand Prix, Yuki Tsunoda was like, he could have finished ahead of Daniel. But again, because Yuki is a crash-prone little kid, he kamikazed into Oscar Piastri. Like, this is the 2023 Formula One Mexican GP. He is trying to make this move on Oscar Piastri. I'll pull it back here. Mute this video because I don't want to get copyright striked. Let's play this. As you can see, Piastri moves a little bit inside to try to defend, and then Yuki is here. Let's see what he does. Now Yuki has the pace around the outside. He is on fresh, hard tires. He is slightly ahead. The front axle of Piastri is alongside Yuki Tsunoda's side pods. This is not when you try to turn in. You need to clear the car entirely before you start turning in, or at least when your rear axle is alongside his front axle, maybe even ahead of that. But Yuki Tsunoda, being a Japanese guy, he decides to turn in right now. Like, right now you should not turn, and he did. A collision was inevitable. And also, nothing wrong done by Piastri over here, because he was ahead at the apex, he took the corner. And if you want to make the overtake from the outside, you have to go a long way around the outside. There's a reason why we say it's a long way around the outside. So you click it, and again, he hits him. So this is a mistake entirely on Yuki Tsunoda. That's why on Mexico, Daniel Ricciardo managed to, outperform him. This is his 3rd year in Formula One, and he still doesn't know how to pull up a decent overtake. He starts to turn in too early, is all I'm going to say. His spatial awareness is kind of on Lance Stroll levels. So yes, in 2023, during this period of time, he was statistically finishing ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. But as I explained, this is not the best Daniel Ricciardo. This is a Daniel Ricciardo who has been broken by life. And we will come to find out that the following season, he will be kicked out of Formula One. So it's not even that impressive. The second teammate that Yuki Tsunoda had in 2023 was Liam Lawson. This one was the most concerning thing for Yuki Tsunoda, because from the get-go in Netherlands, if you remember, Liam Lawson didn't even know he was going to drive until Daniel Ricciardo broke his wrist. So Ricciardo breaks his wrist, Lawson jumps into the car and finishes ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. How impressive is that? Then for the next couple of races, DNFs, nothing much you can do. In Japan, Liam Lawson still outperforms Yuki Tsunoda. And, Qatar was a little bit difficult race for everybody. So, you can make whatever you can make out of it. But in this entire duration in which Liam and Yuki were teammates, it was very evident that Liam Lawson got the hang of the car quickly, found his rhythm quickly and started performing consistently. For the majority of the stint, yes, there were two DNFs on behalf of Yuki Tsunoda. That was not entirely his fault. I get that. But still, this is impressive for Liam Lawson, who is debuting in Formula One. This was Liam Lawson's debut in Formula One, Yuki Tsunoda's third year in the sport. We move on. In 2024, he had two teammates, Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda, and this one is very impressive. You have to give credit to Yuki wherever he smoked the shit out of Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo had a few good moments here and there, but as I mentioned, he was washed out at this point. But this is good level of performance against Daniel Ricciardo. He was consistently ahead. There were some moments, like for example, from Canada all the way to Austria, Daniel finished ahead, and then from Belgium all the way to Azerbaijan, Daniel again finished ahead, which, if you look at it, is kind of disgusting. But still, Yuki Tsunoda was very decisively ahead. Then came Liam Lawson. This is the interesting part, because Liam Lawson's United States Grand Prix, in the rest of the time that they were together, Yuki was ahead. Okay, credit to Yuki. Liam was good, but Yuki still managed to outperform his rookie teammate. Congratulations to him, 4 years of experience by this time. But in United States, this was actually a very good race for Liam Lawson. He started P19 or P20 or something like that, and then he finished P9. Yuki Tsunoda started ahead of Liam Lawson in that race, and he still managed to finish way outside of the points. There was also one moment in the United States Grand Prix where Yuki spun on his own. Like he was, taking the first corner. He was not battling with anyone, no pressure from behind, no one ahead that he was attacking, and he just spun all around by himself. And then, he screwed the tires, and then the race kind of went away from him. Brazil was a great performance from both of the AlphaTauri guys because they qualified well, but they unfortunately pitted right before the red flag. So they kind of got screwed in that situation. Otherwise, they would have finished like P5 and P6 or something like that. Mexican Grand Prix, Yuki Tsunoda DNF'd, I just mentioned. In 2023 Mexico, Yuki collided with Oscar Piastri. And in 2024 Mexico, Yuki Tsunoda destroyed the car in qualifying and also in the main race, DNF'd both of the time. Great job, Yuki. The point that I'm trying to make here is that Yuki Tsunoda should have been fired, should have been domo arigatoed from Red Bull a long time ago because he ain't that good. I don't really understand why so many people are, putting their virtual arm around Yuki Tsunoda and is like, maybe because he's Japanese, cute little Japanese guy, short. I don't understand why they have fetishized this guy so much because that's really what I think is going on. He is not that good. There was never a moment in Yuki's career in which we were looked at his performance and were just flabbergasted. We never looked at Yuki and be like, oh my god, he's lighting it up. Like the way Liam Lawson came in and captured the attention of everybody else with the United States performance, for example. He started behind Yuki, still managed to finish P9. He started P20 or something. Like, we never had these type of moments, these type of amazing recovery drives for Yuki Tsunoda. His racecraft is shit. And if you look at the 2025 Austrian Grand Prix, the most, I think the race before Silverstone, 2025, Yuki Tsunoda's 5th year in Formula 1, you look at his racecraft, look at how shit he is in overtaking Franco Colapinto's Alpine. And Franco Colapinto is a rookie as well. This is Franco Colapinto's 5th Formula 1 race with Alpine. Before that, he was in Williams, and you can make whatever you want to make of that stint. And Yuki Tsunoda's 5th year in Formula 1 couldn't even manage to get ahead of an Alpine. He had the inside line, still couldn't manage to make the overtake before turn 4 and clips him at turn 4 exit. Amazing. Picks up a 10-second penalty, and I don't give a shit about the fact that the Red Bull is a soot box at this point. Yes, the Red Bull is a bad car. Yes, it has been designed around Max Verstappen. But still, you are P20, you are last, not P20 because a bunch of people DNF'd. You were last and you couldn't even manage to overtake the Alpine. The car is bad, okay, I get it, but it can't be that bad. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't ever know because I'm not a racing driver, but if the main competitor that you have is a rookie in a shit car with a terrible engine, the Renault engine on average has like 10 horsepower less. So if a rookie with a weaker car and a weaker engine is able to defend against you better, and your racecraft after 5 years in Formula 1 is so terrible that you're crashing into him in Austria, it's not even that technical of a track. Austria is like a simple, fast flowing, enjoyable track. So it shows that Red Bull are very right in kicking Yuki Tsunoda out at the end of 2025, and I'm happy that no other team are wasting their resources even chasing this guy. His stock is so low because year after year, like from the moment he joined Formula 1 in 2021, like okay, if you want to give his 2021 performance the benefit of doubt that he was a rookie, I still understand. But if you are a race winning driver or a championship winning driver and you want to compete for wins and championships at the top, at the front of the field, you cannot take your sweet little time to grow. You cannot have these stupid little crashes. You cannot just go straight into the barrier and hit your teammates and cost valuable points both in the constructors and the drivers championship. Because this particular one, 37 points for Haas and 35 points for AlphaTauri, like they could have won. AlphaTauri could have easily beaten Haas Ferrari. But again, because of the lackluster performance of Yuki Tsunoda, he is behind, and there are plenty of other crashing moments like this. If you go ahead and look at 2024 Mexico, 2023 Mexico, I will give you guys an entire list of Yuki Tsunoda's lackluster performances where he was at fault of causing collisions and getting into crashes, and you will realize that the only reason he is in Red Bull is because Red Bull don't have a good option. Liam Lawson experiment has failed. They have tried him for the first 2 races. Then Isaac Hadjar is a complete rookie. They don't want to kill his confidence as well. And then Yuki Tsunoda is the best that they have got. Erwin Lindblad is still in the training phase. So because Red Bull don't have any option, that's why Yuki Tsunoda is in that car. You have to understand this. It's not because of racism, it's because this guy's shit. So another thing, the final thing we need to keep in mind is that right now there are only 12 races remaining. We are finished with 12 races. Belgium round 13. We have 12 more races to go in the 2025 Formula 1 season, and what Yuki needs to do right now is just enjoy the experience. You are not going to improve. In Great Britain, the race before this one, and in Austria, Yuki Tsunoda finished dead last. Twice. And in both of these 2 races, he scored a 10-second time penalty and a couple of points on his super license. I don't know how many points he got on his super license in Great Britain, but in Austria, he got 2 penalty points on his super license. He's scoring more penalty points than actual race points. This is getting ridiculous. So for the remainder of the 12 Grand Prix, just fucking enjoy the experience. Don't get a race ban. Have some fun. You will never be in a Formula 1 car ever again because you're shit. You have spent 5 years in Formula 1 and you still cannot overtake the Alpine of Franco Colapinto, who is driving a shit car, which is an Alpine. That car doesn't even have a good engine. So all you can do is just enjoy the experience, create some content for Red Bull, grow your social media following, become a sim racer or a gamer, and then secure the bag and then try to look for other categories of racing. That is my suggestion to Yuki Tsunoda. Have fun for the next 12 races. You ain't scoring shit. Not that anyone is expecting anything from you. Just keep on creating content, grow your social media following. You're not going to be on Formula 1 for 2026 and beyond. Nobody is interested in you, and rightfully so. You have not given anyone any reason to sign you and extend your contract. You were in Formula 1 just because of Honda so far. So what you need to do, start focusing on your sim racing career, grow your social media following, secure the bag, and then maybe think about any other category of racing. If they have a seat available and they don't mind, losing a bunch of money, then obviously I'm pretty sure any other team will be more than happy to hire Yuki Tsunoda. That's my advice to him. So thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.